Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Ask Boxing Science, where we answer your training and nutrition questions for boxing. Today we're going to answer a question around rotational power for boxing. So how to improve rotational power. And the reason why this is so popular in boxing is because obviously in single punches and combination punches, rotational power is really important. And you can see a lot of strength and conditioning coaches and athletes wanting to do rotational med ball throws, doing explosive banded work as well, because you can see that that has a direct transfer towards the sport and improving rotational power. But a big problem is that we have a journey at Boxing Science: stability, strength and power. A lot of athletes tend to go towards this part first without building them foundations. If you don't build the foundations in strength and stability, what will happen? It'll create energy leaks, suboptimal activation of the obliques, which are important to absorb and reproduce rotational movement. And also with this, when you're doing rotational power movements, if you haven't built them strength foundations, you start building compensatory patterns. So you start using your lower back, your QL, to contribute to rotational power. And this can affect the effectiveness of the exercise, can also create some compensatory muscle activation patterns when you're in the ring, and then this is increasing your likelihood of injury. So to make sure that we are improving rotational power and we're making our boxers safe, we take them down this journey, and we do this from a beginner athlete working stability, strength, and before we work on power, but we also do this within a training camp as well, and we'll get into each phase as we go. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about each phase and also share my top 5 exercises for each phase to improve rotational power for boxing. So the first phase is stability. So this is resisting rotation of the lumbar spine against an external load. This is to improve the activation of the oblique muscles, which are our lateral stabilizers, and these are really important to resist rotation and absorb rotational forces. So the better the obliques are activated and being able to absorb that rotation, the better that transfers into rotational power movements. These are predominantly isometric exercises, so we perform these for between 20 and 30 seconds on each side, or for 10 to 15 reps. So high volume loads and an increase at time under tension. And we'd use this with beginner athletes, but also with more advanced athletes. We'll put it into their general preparation phase and strength phase. So here is 5 exercises that we use at Boxing Science, all going in order, in kind of going from a beginner to a more advanced athlete. 2, 1, good. Like a buffer. 3, 2, 1. 9. Order, come on, give it to me. 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice work, well done. Glutes switched on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, punch it out. Good, nice aggressive on that punch. Good. Punch it out. Good. Shoulders down. There. Good. Okay, so the next phase after stability is strength, and this is controlling rotation through a range of motion. So we still have that in mind, where we've got anti-rotation, where we're resisting rotation, but we're actually going through a range of motion. And this is also increasing the eccentric strength of the muscles, so being able to absorb. And this is really important to improve the the function of the stretch shortening cycle of the trunk during rotational power movements. So this is something like a cable rotation or landmine rotation, and it's really important that we control the hips on this to make sure that we're optimizing the stretch of their muscles. If I just grab a band, a coaching cue that I've been using with the boxers recently is acting like The band is representing muscle tension of the obliques during rotation. So as we rotate, we're keeping the hips stable and fixed, and we're optimizing the trunk rotation, and the band is stretching and creating more tension. So we're increasing that muscle activation, and we're creating them adaptations to improve eccentric strength and muscle activation of the obliques. Let's say the hips start moving, what I see quite a lot when doing rotational strength movements. When the hips move, there's no increase in tension of this band here. Okay? So, what we need to do is we need to make sure that our hips are staying stable. We're optimizing the trunk rotation, so then we're increasing muscle activation of the obliques. So we perform 8 to 10 reps on each side. Again, if we're going to do like some more high volume stuff, we might go for 20 or 30 seconds as well. And we use this with boxers once they've done this phase, stability phase, in strength and maximum strength training phases. So let's take a look at the top 5 rotational strength exercises for boxing. Yeah, there. Good. Just to there and up. Just to there, then up. Good. You should feel it more in your obliques now. Yeah? That's better. Well done. So the final phase is rotational power. And this is to challenge the stretch shortening cycle of the core during fast and explosive movements. Something that I see with rotational power exercises, that a lot of them start from stationary starts. So look at what the purpose is. We want to challenge the stretch shortening cycle. So we're wanting to overload the eccentric to then produce a concentric action, a powerful movement. If we're starting from a stationary start and throw the ball, it's a concentric only action. So we need to be mindful on when we're performing med ball throws, are we overloading the eccentric to then transfer that into powerful actions. So this transfers into boxing when doing combination punching. So when you throw a right hand, then a left hook, you're rotating. If I haven't got that eccentric strength there, I won't be able to reproduce that force into the left hook. And obviously, you've got many different combinations where we're twisting that torso, we're having to control that rotation and then reproduce that forceful rotational action. So, with our exercises, we do partner-assisted throws, whether that's from a kneeling position or standing position. And then if we are starting with the ball, if the boxer or the athlete is starting with the ball, we create some sort of eccentric demand there. So we might start with the ball to the side, drop it down, and then throw it through. So we're always looking to challenge the stretch shortening cycle of the trunk. We're going to perform 6 to 8 reps, so we're keeping up that speed and that force production. And then we're going to use this during strength, speed, or speed training phases, and then also we use it in taper phases as well. So I would use rotational power exercises within early training phases for a beginner athlete, but I would be quite mindful on the exercises that I do. So in this next clip of the 5 exercises that I'm going to share with you today, it goes from a beginner athlete, so rotational power exercises suitable for a beginner athlete, through to more advanced rotational power exercises. So here are my top 5 rotational power exercises for boxing. Stability. Good, good. Keep them hips closed when you're rotating. Better, well done. Pivot that back foot. Good work. Little steps and go. Good. As soon as you're there, smash it. Good. That's it. Bring your feet in a little bit closer together. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you've learned a lot more about rotational power exercises for boxing. If you've got any questions about the exercises that we've used today, just drop them in the comment box below. And if you're wanting to find out more about core training for boxing, why don't you check out the Boxing Science membership? We've got a 30-day free trial. The link is in the description. Okay guys, thank you very much for tuning in for another episode of Ask Boxing Science, and hopefully see you on the next episode.